folks, welcome. It's nice to have you all here. And if you're ready, let's take a good sitting position and sit tall. Press sit bones into the floor, stretch the sides of your body long, and turn your attention into your breath. Land on your mat and put down the day. Or perhaps your day is about to start, so put down the evening, the night before. Following the rise and fall of your breath, allow yourself to be present. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart, and either with eyes softly open or closed, once again turn in. We'll open with 3 ohms. Exhale, inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Inhale. Om. Open our eyes, release our hands. So my word of the day is floating. And here's a question for you. What if you stopped threading the water and just allow yourself to float? Just to float wherever life is bringing us collectively at the moment, and just go with the river. So to get a sense of that, we're going to start off lying on our back. So come and lie down on your back and bend your knees and place your heels in front of your hips on the floor. And allow your knees to lean in towards each other, and place the palms of your hands on your abdominal area. And just you're in constructive rest right now. And on every inhalation, sinking deeper into the mat. And just for a moment, see if you can imagine yourself floating. Floating on air, floating on water, floating in a dreamlike place. There's a lightness to your body. You're not tethered to anything, either by your mind or your body or sensations or feelings. You're just allowing yourself to float, to be exactly the way you are. As you're floating there, noticing your senses. What's there, what's present for you right now? And again, instead of a sensation of treading the water, just floating with it. Allow those thoughts and feelings, emotions to float in and float out. And a deep sense of relaxation as you're floating. And a sense of peacefulness starting to creep over your body, because your muscles are starting to rest deeply. Just letting go of any tension anywhere in your body. a felt sense of well-being, floating, just being in this moment, quiet, quick sense of calmness, of peacefulness. If you haven't already placed your palms on your lower abdominal area, you might like to place them there right now. If your elbows are off the floor, you could rest them on a couple of cushions or something. Your knees are still bent and leaning towards each other. Your heels, your feet, you can walk them out towards the long edges of the mat. And again, just coming back into a place of deep rest. And watching the rise and fall of your lower abdomen. I'm going to do a little bit of diaphragmatic breathing. So in your own time, you're going to exhale and inhale just into the lower abdominal area with minimal movement on your upper chest, your ribs. And in your own time, when you feel ready, you might like to try and take 10 breaths into the lower abdominal area, watching the rise and fall of your belly merely as a result of you breathing into that area of your body, feeling the movement of your lower abdomen under the palms of your hands, and deeply resting the rest of your body. And making your next exhalation the last exhalation, and return to normal breathing. And now you might like to reach your arms over your head behind you, clasp your hands together and place your arms on the floor behind you. And keeping your feet where they are, your knees bent, leaning towards each other, return to your lower abdominal area and see, once again, can you breathe nice 10 relaxed breaths into the lower abdominal area only. Making your next exhalation, your last exhalation, return to normal breathing and return your arms, your hands into the home position, palms down, lower abdominal area. And once again, taking another 10 breaths just into the lower abdominal area. You might like to lengthen out your breathing. Slow it down. And no way should your breathing be in any way stressed. This should be really relaxing, softening, very easeful breathing practice. Calming, letting go. Just feeling the rise and fall, your lower belly with the palms of your hands, merely through breathing. And your next exhalation, make that the last one, and returning once more to normal breathing. And now, stretch your arms once more out behind us. You can clasp your hands together and interlace your fingers, or keep your arms shoulder width apart, palms pointing towards each other on the floor. And this time, stretch your legs out and move your heels out away from each other to the edges, the long edges of the mat. And once more, returning to that lovely abdominal breath. And once again, taking another 10 breaths. Floating sensation at the same time. Your body is in contact with the surface that supports it. Just imagine that you're just floating. And making your next exhalation, your last exhalation, return your arms, hands to the home pose, and bend your knees. Place your heels in front of your hips. Walk your feet out to the long edges of the mat and lean your knees towards each other. We're back into constructive rest or the home pose. And for a moment, just take a few ordinary breaths. And in your own time, take another 10 breaths into the lower abdominal region. And focusing just on your breath, breathing into that area of your body. Gentle breath, soft breath, calming, restful. Your next exhalation, make it your last and return to normal breathing. Take a few normal breaths. Now we're going to move on to rib cage breathing, and place your hands either side of your rib cage, your fingers pointing towards the center of your towards your solar plexus. Hands will be placed just below the bikini line if you wore a bikini. And again, if you need to rest your elbows on something, find something to put them on. And again, our knees are bent, our knees are leaning towards each other, our feet are out to the long edges of the mat. And for a moment, just take a couple of normal breaths. And when you're ready, we're breathing just into the rib cage area of our body. So now we're focusing, the focus has moved from the lower abdominal area to the rib cage. So minimal movement in the lower abdominal area, minimal movement in the upper chest. And when you're ready, taking 10 breaths just into the rib cage area only. See if you can feel your ribs expanding out to the sides, pretty much like an accordion. Strengthening the elasticity of your lungs, filling your lungs to the absolute capacity. Watching how your hands move away from each other, the tips of your fingers, merely through the strength of your breath. Make your next exhalation, your last exhalation, return to normal breathing. Just take a few ordinary breaths. And now, once again, keeping your feet where they are, lift your arms behind you, place them on the floor, point palms towards each other. And again, total concentration on the rib cage area. And this time breathing into the rib cage area, expanding them out just as you did before. But this time you haven't got your hands to guide you. It's a little bit harder. So can you make them move as wide apart from each other, your ribs, as you possibly can, without forcing your breath in any way. And next exhalation, return your arms, hands to the home pose on the sides of your ribs, fingers pointing towards each other. And take another couple of ordinary breaths. And now, again, another 10 breaths just into the rib cage alone. Focusing on building up the strength of the lungs. It's surprising how wide apart they can move as we become more and more breath aware. And your next exhalation, return to normal breathing. Take 4 or 5 breaths. And now once again, lift your arms behind you, hands shoulder width apart, point palms towards each other, and again you can lay them on a cushion if it makes it a little bit more comfortable, and stretch your legs out, heels out to the long edges of the mat. And just for a moment, take a couple of ordinary breaths. And when you feel ready, start your 10 breaths. Just breathing into the rib cage only. You find your mind drifting away, come back to the movement of your breath. And your next exhalation, returning to normal breathing. Return your hands to the home pose. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips. Allow your knees to lean towards each other. Just breathing normally for a moment. And when you feel ready, take another 10 breaths into the rib cage area only. Hands set just below the bikini line, tips of fingers pointing towards each other, elbows resting either on the floor or on cushions. Making your next breath your last breath. And return to normal breathing. And still with that kind of floating sensation, I invite you now to roll over onto your side and over onto your front. And you can either clasp your hands behind your head and interlace your fingers, forward on the floor, elbows on the floor. Or if that's too uncomfortable for you, stretch your arms out in front of you, forward on the floor, palms of your hands down. Legs a little bit apart. And breathing freely now, feel the movement of your abdomen against the floor. Being very aware of the front of your body in contact with the floor. You're still focusing on that floating, that easeful feeling you had. And from here, moving into fish pose on your belly. So you're still lying on your belly. And place your elbow under the right hand side of your face or your forearm and bend your left knee up. So your left hand arm is down on the floor, palm facing down. Your right hand arm is on the floor and your head is resting on your right arm. And your left knee is bent. And you're totally relaxed. And again, just sinking into the floor and staying with the breath. So you're fish pose and now you're fish in the water. And if you wish, you could even put a cushion between the side of your face and the top of your wrist. Still floating, that suspended sensation. And then when you feel ready, switch the pose over onto the other side. So straighten out one leg, bend the other, and move your head and rest it onto the other arm. Again, back into fish pose. And now, very gently, Start to awaken your body. I'm going to do some poses focusing on the hip area, all around the lower abdominal area, with the focus being on water. So come and sit on your knees with your toes tucked under into Thunderbolt. So tops of your feet on the floor and you're sitting up. And just breathing and resting if you can in this position. If you find this difficult, take a block, create space behind your knees and sit on the block. Or take a cushion, create space behind your knees and sit on it. And just focusing on your belly and your lower abdominal area, just straighten your spine. And from here we'll move into child's pose. So you're just inhaling and then leaning forward, bring your head to the floor, arms by your sides, turn palms up and just sink down into the floor. And again, just being mindful that you're not holding tension anywhere in your body. Focusing on your breath and feeling the sensations that arise in the pose. It's a lovely calming, quietening pose. Relaxes the body and dilutes anxiety. And then inhale and make your way back up to sitting in Thunderbolt. And then we're just going to do a mini sun salutation in Thunderbolt. So inhaling your arms up, exhaling and hinge forward, bring your head to the floor. Inhale back up, exhale, hinge forward. So we'll do 5 or 6 more of those. Inhaling up, exhaling forward. And standing, root down with your feet into the floor, squeeze your shins in. Inhale your arms up and place your hands on top of your head and turn your palms up. Just feel what that feels like. And then again, as if you're in water, just pushing your hands up, inhaling, exhaling your hands back down. Long, slow breath in. Moving your hands through water slowly. Being very aware of all the sensations. Last round. Release your arms. Just close your eyes and notice, feel the sensations in your body. as if you were floating on the air. And step your feet wider than hip width apart and turn your toes out slightly. Clasp your hands behind your back. I might just turn this way so you can see me. And then inhale and reach forward. Inhale, reach forward, and exhale. And as you inhale, come back up. Slight bend in the knees in case you strain your back. Exhale, forward, lift your arms up to vertical. Inhale, back. And again, moving very slowly as if through water. Exhale, inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Exhale forward and inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. And again, you might feel a little bit dizzy, just be careful. Exhale forward. Inhale back. It's a very big breathing practice we're doing. Exhale forward. Inhale back. And 2 more rounds just to finish that. And stepping your feet together at the end of it. And closing your eyes. And just noticing the sensations. And again, there might be a slight dizziness, and that's okay. Now we're going to chop the wood a little bit. So what you're going to do, I'll just demo, is you're going to inhale your arms up, clasp your hands together, and feet are quite wide apart, and as if you were chopping an axe, and go ha, and allow your arms to swing, and then inhale back up, and again go ha, and allow the arms, the body to swing, and then inhale back up. And see if you can do between 5 and 6 of those. If you feel dizzy, do less. Ha. Don't forget to do the ha. 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 And making the next one your last one. Arms to your side. Close your eyes, turn in. Just noticing again the sensations as they've changed in your body. And now we're making our way down into squat pose, so separate your feet quite wide apart. Exhale as you come and sit down. And then inhale, you're going to lift yourself up, so get there like that. And then inhale, knees bent. And then squat down again. And see if you can manage a half a dozen rounds of that. And stretch your legs out in front of you. Place your hands by your hips and sit tall. And then make your way to lying on your back. Bend your knees and place your heels in front of your hips. And walk your feet out to the long edges of the mat, knees bent. And then inhale, your arms by your side, turn your palms up. Inhale and exhale your knees to the floor. Inhale them back up to center and exhale them down to the other side. So you're doing 5 on each side. And again, as if you're moving through water. And do one more full round of that and come back to a place of stillness. And then moving into relaxation, stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out. Turning your attention inwards. Preparing yourself for Shavasana. We'll do a little bit of a body scan. Arms by your sides, turn your palms up. And coming back to your breath. And this time starting with the soles of your feet. Notice your left little toe, the next toe, the middle toe, the next toe, and the big toe, and the spaces between your toes. Feeling the sensations in your left foot, the soft sole of the foot. The back of your left calf, left thigh, your shin, your knee, the top of your left thigh, your left hip. Notice sensations from hip to toe and toe to hip of the left leg. And shifting your attention to the little toe of your right foot, the next toe, the middle toe, the next toe, and the big toe. The sensations in the toes and the spaces between the toes. Sole of the foot, heel where it touches the floor, the shin, the back of the thigh, your ankle, knee and thigh. Feel the whole of the right leg from toe to hip and hip to toe. Your lower abdomen, your ribs, your upper chest, your upper back, mid back and lower back. Feeling into sensations, the whole side of your torso, the front of your torso, other side of your torso, and the back of your torso. Aliveness, a tingling, a felt sense of being. And shifting our attention once again, your shoulders, upper arms, forearms, wrists, and the palms of both hands. Any tingling sensations which may be present, warmth or coolness, heaviness or lightness, the spaces between the fingers, tops of the hands, forearms, upper arms, collarbones, feeling both arms and hands together. Felt sense of aliveness, felt sense of life flowing through you. And once again, bringing our attention to our upper chest, throat, jaw, the mouth, the tongue and the mouth, the teeth, noticing the sensations in the mouth and the lips, softness, warmness, moisture. Smells, tastes. Moving your attention to your eyes, the sockets, the eyeballs, the edges of the eyelids. Noticing both eyes together. Shifting your attention to your ears, perhaps the contours of your ears, and following the sounds right into the middle of your skull. Top of the skull, containing the brain, back of the skull, resting on the surface that supports it, and the forehead, cool air around the forehead. And then feel the whole body being supported by the surface that is lying or seated upon. The whole back of the body, the whole front of the body, the space surrounding the body, and the gentle dissolving of barriers between the space surrounding the body and the space of the body, where one melts into the other. Felt sense of being, a felt sense of life flowing through you, the rise and fall of your breath. Sense of peace, quietness, equanimity. Floating in a sea of tranquility and calmness. Begin to deepen your breathing now. You can stay here or start to awaken your body by moving your hands, your feet, Perhaps give yourself a stretch. And then in your own time, you might like to bend your knees, roll to one side, and make your way to sitting. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart one last time to honour ourselves, each other, and the practice. We close with one Om. Exhale, inhale. Om. Thanks for practicing, thanks for coming to practice. See you on the mat. And of course, as usual, if you like this practice, do give me a like, share or subscribe on YouTube.